talking about ancestors and healing and manifesting the existence of this book. What if our healing centered freedom from oppressive systems? What if our healing centered being in ways that our ancestors couldn't? What if our healing centered justice from the ways that the systems have harmed us? What if queer, trans, Black, Indigenous, and people of color were so well? These questions will be answered in my upcoming book, Answering the Call of the Ancestors, a recovery guide in times of reckoning and revolution. Hi, I'm Carolyn. I use they, them pronouns. I am a queer, non-binary, neurospicy, Black, Indigenous person of color in recovery from substance use struggles for the past 5 years. I'm also the founding steward of Recovery for the Revolution, where we contextualize the ways that systemic oppression, the history of colonization, inform our struggles with substance use and root in solutions that center liberation. There are so many reasons that I shouldn't really exist. There are so many times that I could have died from the way that I used to drink and use other drugs. The whole time I was really just trying to cope with the pressure, right? The pressure to be perfect so white people could like me so I could survive. The pressure of being presentable and acceptable to cis men so that I could be safe. And really make the trauma, the struggle of my lineage worth it, right? By trying to achieve this American dream. But that nearly killed me. Getting into the rooms of recovery saved my life, but to really heal and to be able to really live life in the ways that I felt like my ancestors were calling me to, I needed to do that deep ancestral healing work. And so that's why I wrote this book. Our ancestors have been facing the soul-sucking violence of colonization for over 500 years. Because of these systems, so many of us struggle with living life as it is now. I'm writing this book because it's needed. You know, we don't have many resources that are written by us and for us that are really centered in how the systems of oppression inform struggles with substance use, how this inherited history of colonization, of racial capitalism, of patriarchy, like how that lives on within us and is informing why we cope with substances. We didn't have to end up living like this, and we don't have to carry this into the future. We get to turn to the ways of our ancestors to recover and heal. And that's the heart of this book. Answering the Call of the Ancestors, a recovery guide in times of reckoning and revolution. Knowing the history is one of the most empowering things because that history can give context to the things that like we know in our bones, right? That we know in our body, that, you know, I know in my shoulders where my ancestral trauma lives. When we find ways to be well that are rooted in the wisdom of our lineages, we answer the call of the ancestors. When we love freely beyond patriarchal norms, we answer the call of the ancestors. When I see queer, trans, Black, Indigenous, and people of color living fully in our freedom, I feel like anything is possible. Thank you so much for your contribution to make this work possible.